Got underway with Kabir Anurag stating his intent with how he parked on the front row of the grid. He, Gabriel Gomez and Bart Harrison had a drag race down to the first corner. Meanwhile, unfortunately, at the very first corner, Leo Robinson tagging Maxim Rim. Both drivers would ultimately end up out of the race, shedding tyre and front wing respectively. Bart Harrison's front wing wouldn't last much longer either, unfortunately. Contact between him and Maxim Rim, and that sent Harrison's front wing into the gravel trap on the exit of turn 5. Another front wing, Dante Vinci's, coming off as well. He would ultimately finish 20th, and then also on the first lap, a huge collision triggered by a late braking Simon Schranz, taking out the likes of Chloe Chambers, unfortunately. Some great scraps further back in the field. Alba Hurup Larsen there in amongst the battles, along with, I believe that's Ginny Panzeri in her first race getting in amongst the action, which is always great to see. Borenstein and Larsen exchanging positions as they fought further back for Maffei and Jense respectively. McLaughlin was in a comfortable third position after the issues on the first lap for some of the other front runners. And Max Popov was the main contender to that third position for much of the race. Really pressing on, trying to get as close as possible, trying to get within range for an overtake, much like this from Alba Larsen, going into turn 16. But for Popov, it would never look quite as neat as Alba made it look there as they continued to fight. Peyton Westcott was just behind them, also observing the action from behind. 22 and the 94 going at it. A brilliant scrap between them out on the circuit. Also further back, Rafaela Ferreira and Andrea Dupé having a scrap. Those two ended up tied in the standings by the end of the race after Dupé had a track limits penalty. That will work out in Ferreira's favour for 11th place, but they were exactly tied after Dupé scored a track limits penalty. Lots of track limit extensions, a few track limit penalties, but for Finn McLaughlin, it was all about staying neat and staying ahead of Maximilian Popov, and that was exactly what he was doing. Severikin, meanwhile, was giving Enya Fry some problems for 7th position, and all Jense Motorsport battle. They got a little bit too close for comfort on a couple of occasions. No contact, but great racing between the two of them, respectful racing between the two of them, but with a couple of intakes of breath, I'm sure, among their respective mechanics. Meanwhile, further back, Dupé getting to the inside there of Trapper as they continued to scrap on the fringes of the top 10, bouncing across the runoff here. Never quite so comfortable. The runoff maybe has a few more bumps than the surface that has been newly refreshed in parts here at Motorland Aragon. Popov, meanwhile, was under huge pressure from Andrea Kostic. He made an error down at turn 12. That gave Kostic the opportunity to challenge at turn 16, but Kostic would end up off the circuit, and that was Thomas Behrmann's opportunity to try for a position that he did not quite manage to get. That was for 4th, 5th and 6th place. Trapper ended up with a last-minute slide there at the end of the race. Meanwhile, the battles continued on down at Jense Motorsport, but Severikin would have to settle for second best among the Jense drivers. Trapper and Matilda Patz and Alba Hurup Larsen found each other at the very end of the race as well after Trapper's spin, but no battles at the end of the race for our race winner Kabir Anurag. He distanced himself from Gabriel Gomez. Our championship leader, though, will extend his championship advantage with his second place finish. And Alba Hurup Larsen just about holding on up against Borenstein on the final lap. Drag race to the line between the two of them, but one driver on top today, and that is Kabir Anurag. His first FWS podium, his first FWS race win. Kabir Anurag wins the day from Gabriel Gomez. Finn McLaughlin, rookie winner, in 3rd place. Maximilian Popov in 4th position. Andrea Kostic in 5th. Thomas Behrmann in 6th position. Fry in 7th. Severikin in 8th. Cardamon, the women's trophy winner, in 9th. Alexander Ruta, 10th. Ferreira, 11th. Andrea Dupé in 12th. Gennaro Trapper in 13th place. Larsen, 14th. Borenstein in 15th. Peyton Westcott in 16th place, Matilda Patz in 17th, Marcus Saiter in 18th, Ginevra Panzeri in 19th, Dante Vinci rounding out the top 20, ahead of Cornelia Olkutska, Chloe Chambers, David Walter in 23rd position, 24th Ilya Luis Weiss, and he was the last of the finishers. Robinson, Harrison, Rim, Schranz and Sebastian Bach all failing to take the flag after dramas in the early stages of the race.